now with that crazy intro video out of the way, we can finally talk about you wanting to hack games, right? So before we dive into tools and techniques, we have to talk about what this journey really demands. And you need to understand that this isn't a weekend hobby or a quick tutorial series, right? It's a commitment and it will test your patience, persistence, and passion. All right, that out of the way, we have a reality check, right? The hard truth about game hacking. So it takes years, not weeks. You will not be able to do this for a month and then all of a sudden you're a millionaire selling cheats, living on the Bahamas and whatever not. You know, it doesn't work like that. Game hacking and modding take years of dedicated work just to reach competency. Night and day practice, constant learning, persistent failure. So you will fail every single day. But that's okay. Why? Because as game hackers, we thinker, right? We debug, we reverse engineer stuff. You don't know. Like you enter a game, somebody else wrote it, like you don't know. So trial and error is your best friend. Don't be discouraged. You will fail, fail, fail. But once you succeed, that high and that boost of energy is nothing like you have seen never before. So it's a never ending battle too. So this isn't a learn once, know forever kind of deal. You're constantly face game and NTG developers actively trying to make your techniques obsolete. The fight just never ends. So and comfort takes time, you know. Even after years of experience reversing games and anti-cheating systems, it remains challenging. Mastery is a moving target. You'll just have to chase it throughout your entire journey. So I hope you get the guts for it, guys. Some of the basic tools you will be needing is Cheat Engine, X64 Debug, and HexD Editor. Cheat Engine lets you peek inside the game memory. It has a disassembler in it. You can look at the assembly language inside of it and you can change some of the assembly code. The assembly code part is much better in X64 Debug because it's basically a tool for dissecting execution logic. Lets you step through instructions, watch registers react, catch execution critical moments, and it's basically a much better debugger than Cheat Engine, but not for memory. It's for assembly. And the HexD editor, it's basically like lets you edit any file, save file, an asset that becomes bytes. Games that do not encrypt the save data, for example, you can take a look at let's say your player name, and you can just change the player name in save game, or maybe you can add some items to your inventory. So XD editor is the best tool for that job. Moving on to the next slide, we have choosing the right tool. It's really important to understand the tools you are having and to use the tools adequately. So the whole key to effective game hacking is knowing where the problem lives, and each tool excels in specific domains. And with experience, you just develop an instinct for it and you'll be a much better hacker. So, problem lives in memory. It's a cheat engine tool. So basically, let's say you have a health value. So that's a value. It's in memory. Or you have a value for the location of all players in the map. That's also cheat engine stuff. Now, let's say you take damage and you want to make sure your character can never die. You can solve this in two ways, or maybe an infinite amount of ways, but let's say two ways. Number one way is to freeze your value in cheat engine. So you go and find your address to the health value and then you freeze it to 100 and then you can no longer die because the value will always be reset to 100. But if you take damage that's more than 100, you will probably die because the game runs on ticks. So if the game's tick goes damage, check health, and then the tick, continues, and then next tick, you will die instantly, even though if you froze the value. Now, if you want to stop that entirely, you can use X64 debug and even cheat engine, but X64 debug is better for this. You can just find the function that is responsible for deducing health, and then you can just disable it, like replace it with knobs. That means no operation, it's assembly. So basically, you stop the function from working. Now you can anything that damages you will not damage you ever. So that is a true God mode. And if the problem lives in a file, like I said, you can just edit the file, your name, your inventory, points, whatever it is that you want to change. All right, so the last slide is building your instinct. Pattern recognition is your most valuable skill. The more you practice, the faster you identify problem domains and reach for the right tool. Like I said, Cheat Engine, X64, Debug, XD, whatever. Other tools you'll be later down the line, you'll be writing your own tools. But for now, let's just use the free stuff that helps us immensely to learn. Together, we will start with simple challenges like modify health, ammo, currency in single player games. Yes, I know you're annoyed. You want to do reversing of anti cheats and be the first rage hacker on Valorant, in your circle of friends. But we have to start with the simplest things in order to understand the more complex stuff. So I have personally done the anti cheat bypass for Valorant with KVMs. I will explain that in later down the line videos. We have to just start at the beginning, so you're in good hands. Don't worry. The second thing is to document your discoveries. Keep notes on what you worked on, what worked, what failed, and why. This will 10x everything that you do. Okay, so don't skip this. Trust me. And the final one is join communities. There's a bunch of forums online. I also have a forum, so you should join my forum, of course. I'm going to advocate for that. But if you don't like my forum, you can just join anything else, of course. So here we focus on learning from others, sharing techniques, and staying motivated. We don't ban people for asking stupid questions. We do understand you're a beginner. So no toxicity, no ego, just work on problems and communicate with each other. Okay. I will also leave a link for downloads for Cheat Engine binary that I have myself compiled. Nothing, cool about it. Just download the project and compile it. And I did this so you guys don't have to install any money hungry bloatware that for some reason Cheat Engine website has. So do not download Cheat Engine from there. That's the worst thing you can do. If you already did, just like delete it or just wipe your computer at this point, because that's just ew. Okay, so you can download that, and I'll leave the other links for the downloads. Of course, the forum link will be down there with a link to the article for this video. Every video has an article, and you can read the article and you can watch the video. Okay, so yeah, that's it for me, and I hope you guys have a great day. So yeah, keep on hacking.